the top 10 ecchi anime where the popular girl falls in love with the main character. There are plenty of ways in which this could happen, so let's see what we've got. The first anime on our list is Hajimete no Gal. The main character, named Junichi Hashiba, is your average high school student. He lets his friends' words get to him, and he also lacks self-confidence. But on a desperate attempt to get a girlfriend, he somehow actually gets a girlfriend. So here's what happened. He asks a beautiful girl named Yukana Yame. The girl is disgusted by how he asks her out, but she still says yes to going out with him. Why, you ask? Well, isn't that obvious? It's because he's the main character. Now, there are other cliched girls too, like the childhood friend, the elegant girl, the fashionable girl, and then of course, his actual girlfriend. This anime isn't anything new. It's just a combination of the popular cliches there are in this sort of anime. But is it worth watching? Probably not. Is there really a meaning to watching ecchi anime? Well, then let's move on to the next one. Princess Lover. The main character loses both of his parents in a traffic accident, and then, after losing his guardians, he's taken in by his grandfather. His grandfather has a stupid amount of money, and because of that, for the first time in his life, he's introduced to the world of the wealthy and rich. Before, his life was normal, but now, even his normal life has become so lavish that he doesn't know what to expect next. His grandfather wants him to succeed the Arima Financial Combine, and to prepare him for that, he's enrolled in a prestigious school, and then an interesting thing happens. He gets engaged, that too, to a prosperous young lady. And just like that, his life is totally turned upside down. Still though, this is a harem anime, so there are bound to be other girls, even though he now has a fiancée. Cupid's Chocolates. This is a Chinese anime, and it's also pretty good. What happens is that the main character, Jiang Haoyi, suddenly becomes a harem king, even though he is scared of getting into trouble. And he's pretty fixed up on living a boring and dull life because that's what suits him. But then it begins, his new life as a harem king. Now, a bunch of all kinds of beautiful girls suddenly start confessing to him, but he has no idea who they are and why they're confessing to him. Guys, if you ever thought of watching a harem anime that is a bit different than the usual harem anime, then this is worth giving a shot. It's more of a comedy anime than a harem anime. Still though, it will take time to get used to the Chinese voice acting. Ore no Kanojo to Osana Najimi. The relationship of Eita Kidu's parents was very awkward. They weren't on very good terms with each other, and as a result, Eita grew up to be extremely skeptical of love. Now that he's a high school student, unlike other boys of his age, he plans on studying hard to one day become a respectable doctor, and he has no interest in romance. Or at least that's what he thought. But then a popular girl named Natsukawa, who is tired of people asking her out and treating her with affection, she realizes that Eita isn't interested in romantic relationships at all. So she asks him to pretend to be her boyfriend. That way, they both won't be approached by people of the opposite gender. To which, of course, Eita refuses. But then, Natsukawa uses one of the most useful tricks there are. She tells him that if he refuses to oblige, she will upload all the stuff Eita has written in his journal to the internet. And just like that, the negotiation would go out of his hands, and he had no choice but to go along with it. But even though he's now her boyfriend, she still has access to all the embarrassing stuff he's written in his journal. Gamers. You love games. I love games. Jimmy next door loves games. Everybody loves games. And the main character, or rather the main characters of this anime, also love games. First, we have Keita Amano. He plays a lot of games, and he even has an internet buddy who he's never actually seen before. And then one day, the most popular girl in the entire school, Karen Tindu, she's literally the school's idol. Surprisingly, she takes Keita to a club, which is specifically about gaming. And after observing for a fair amount of time and enjoying himself, he humbly declines. He just wasn't comfortable with the whole idea of turning gaming into a competition. This makes things kind of awkward between him and her, but it also shakes his life, as the people that now surround him are mostly gamers. Now, this anime could use a lot of criticism, but it's still a good anime, though it is more about misunderstandings than it is about gaming. Nyan Koi. The main character, Junpei, is allergic to cats, and that is the reason why he started hating cats. However, everyone around him loves cats. That includes his family, his childhood friend, and even his crush. And one random day, when Junpei is on his way back home, he instinctively tries to kick an empty can, because why not? But he misses the trash can, which in turn makes him feel like a failure. However, the can did hit something. It hit the statue of a cat deity, and that broke the statue. And because of that, he somehow gains the ability to understand cat speech. He also gets cursed, and he now has to do a 100 good deeds for cats if he wants the curse to be lifted. And if he fails, he'll turn into a cat. But considering how he's allergic to cats, he'll most likely die. It is a very good anime, especially if you like or not like cats. Nogizaka Haruka no Himitsu. The most popular girl at the most prestigious academy, Haruka Nogizaka, is an intelligent and beautiful girl who comes from a very loaded family. She's the spotlight of the entire academy. Everyone treats her like an idol, and some go as far as to give her French nicknames. The main character, Yuto Ayase, is someone who has the privilege of being in the same class as Haruka, and like all of the other students, he also spends his days admiring her from a distance. But then one day, when Yuto randomly pays a visit to the school's library, he comes across Haruka's secret, a secret that could potentially destroy her reputation. It turns out Haruka is actually a hardcore otaku, and now Yuto is the only one who is sharing this secret of hers. Now this is a pretty good anime. It's not a harem. There's romance and some good old comedy. You'll love it, especially if you don't mind some light romance. Ladies versus butlers. We're back to harem anime. The main character, Hino Akiharu, is a normal yet scary-looking high school student. When he's just a kid, he lost his parents and then moved in with his uncle. But because he'd started to feel bad about depending so much on his uncle and all, he decides to enter a free boarding school as a butler. Now here at his new school, the majority of the students are all girls, and most of them just get scared of his scary looks, and that's why they decide to keep their distance. But then, he unexpectedly meets his childhood crush. Amagami SS. Now this one is an interesting anime. The story goes like this. 2 years ago, on the Christmas Eve, Junichi Tachibana was waiting for his date. But in the end, she never came. Since then, he's always had a hard time for showing his feelings to others, as he's always afraid that he might get rejected, or worse, ignored. But he lucked out. He meets several young girls whom he's romantically interested in. Now what makes this anime interesting is that it seems like a harem anime, but it's not. Each one of the main girls is given their respective arcs, where Junichi is their love interest. So in a way, this anime is a combination of little stories, and it works surprisingly well. Sankareya. This anime is kind of unusual. It is both horror and an ecchi romance. Of course, there are other anime like this one, so if something pops up in your head, don't forget to comment down below. The main character of this anime, Chihiro Furuya, has an obsession with zombies, and it's kind of unhealthy, in the sense that he even wants a zombie girlfriend. And he gets his wish granted soon enough. What happens is that his cat gets run over, which makes him decide to make a resurrection potion. And while he's in the process of making the potion, he sees a rich girl named Rhea. She's tired of her oppressive lifestyle, and all she wants is to get rid of her boring routines. As for the potion, at one point, he succeeds in making it. However, Rhea mistakes it for a poison and drinks it. However, it was a resurrection potion, and since she was already alive, it neither kills her nor makes her alive again. As a result, she ends up in a state of life and death, and the only word that can describe her is zombie. And just like that, Chihiro's dream comes true, but can he really take care of a zombie? There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and leave a comment. And if you're new to the channel, you should consider turning that red subscribe button gray. I post regular content, like every 2 days or so. I know that I didn't cover all the anime in this video, so if you have something to recommend, you can let us know in the comments below. Well then, see you guys in my next video. Until then, stay safe and watch anime.